Welcome to the webinar on the pre-codes for the Spring Keystone Exams for the 2018-19 school year. This webinar is presented by Emily Wolf, statistician from the Division of Assessment and Accountability. The Division of Assessment and Accountability is part of the Bureau of Curriculum, Assessment, and Instruction, and is responsible for PIMS trainings, the attribution map, and all accountability reporting functions, including the Future Ready PA Index and SPP. We provide assessment data that will be used for the ESSA dashboard and PVAS reporting. This webinar will provide information regarding the PIMS internal snapshot for the Spring Keystone Precodes, which will be taken at 12 p.m. on March 7th, 2019. Any entity that teaches a Keystone-related course must assess the student in algebra, biology, and/or literature keystones as end-of-course exams. Keystone courses are designated in PIMS by the LEA as trigger courses. Designating a course as such is a local decision and not mandated by PDE. LEAs should look at the content standards for a Keystone course before designating the course in PIMS to ensure that students have the requisite knowledge to demonstrate proficiency. A student does not have to complete the course in order to take the Keystone exam. If the student is near the end of the Keystone course, the student should take the exam. Students taking the Keystone exam must be uploaded to PIMS during the internal snapshot date. In order to submit the correct data, PIMS administrators must first identify the students who are taking the Keystone and upload them for this internal snapshot. These students should be coded with valid value Y, N, or O for Spring Keystones in field 215 in order for the student record to be sent in the file to DRC for generating precode labels in test setup sessions. There are two templates, student and school enrollment, that need to be updated and uploaded in Collection Window 6 to ensure the data passes the data quality engine rules. It's important that PIMS administrators verify that data has been successfully uploaded by running verification reports. PIMS administrators are also encouraged to run the pre-snap assessment subgroup comparison Keystones report, because the data that is in that report is the data that PIMS shows as uploaded for the LEA. The deadline is emphasized. Final data must be uploaded by noon on March 7th, 2019. This is an overview of the details we will be discussing for the precodes for Spring Keystone Exam's internal snapshot. It begins with the student in the blue circle, which includes the student's 5 matching criteria. The other boxes include data about the student. These include the student's demographics and school enrollment. It is very important that the 5 matching criteria are correct. The 5 matching criteria are first name, last name, date of birth, PA Secure ID, and grade. Most of these fields are now part of the DQE rules when the LEA submits data. Although PIMS will accept all special characters, DRC does not. Please make sure the first and last name use what is listed on an official document, such as a birth certificate, passport, or baptismal record. The name should match the same name as listed in the PA Secure ID system. Please make sure the student's PA Secure ID is unique to the student. Students with 2 IDs or 2 students sharing 1 ID should be resolved by contacting the PIMS help desk. Please be sure birth date is accurate. And grade must match in both the student and school enrollment templates. Data from the school enrollment template is used to determine which students are included in the internal snapshot. The template includes entry and withdrawal dates, codes, and grades. The school, district, and state entry dates in the student template are also used to determine which students are included in the snapshot. In the student template, field 99 is the school entry date. The school entry date cannot be beyond the current school year. This date should be on or before the date in the school enrollment template. Field 98 is the district entry date. This date cannot be beyond the current school year. Field 109 is the state entry date, which is the date the student entered a Pennsylvania school. The guidelines for submitting the school, district, and state entry dates are as follows. The dates must be in ISO format, which is the 4-digit year followed by the 2-digit month and then the 2-digit day, as shown in this slide. These fields cannot be left blank. They are required fields. The dates must fall within the current school year or before. There is a DQE rule that ensures future dates cannot be entered. The state entry date is the date the student entered a PA school. The district entry date must be on or after the state entry date. The school entry date must be on or after the district and state entry dates. Essentially, the student must be in the state and district on or before he or she can be in the school. The assessment participation code for the Spring Keystones is within field number 215. Enter Y for yes if a student is taking the Keystone exams and needs a precode label. Enter N for no if the student is not taking the Keystone exams and does not need a precode label. Enter O for online testers. These students will appear in the precode file to DRC and can be added to test sessions if a student changes to Y. Although online testers do not need a precode label, it is a good idea to submit those students. This is so that the data file sent to DRC will be inclusive of all students and provide flexibility for the LEA. For example, if your LEA cannot give the test online and your online tester becomes a paper pencil tester, you can still set up test sessions for the student through the DRC system, since the student will already be uploaded in your file. However, if you did not submit the online tester during this internal snapshot, the student will not appear in the DRC data file, and a precode cannot be generated for that student. This means the booklet must be hand bubbled. Due to winter weather delays, there will be a delay in reporting the winter Keystone results prior to the Spring Keystone precode upload. Therefore, it is suggested that students who took the winter Keystone exam, as recorded in field 214, but are potentially retesting, are also submitted as needing precodes or testing online, so that precode labels can be available for them should they be retested. Additional fields in the student template to be particularly aware of include the following. Field number 117 is the district code of residence. Please refer to Appendix N of the PIMS manual for guidance regarding this field. Field number 165 is the location code of residence. Important to note, if the district of residence does not have a school within the student's grade level, use quadruple zeros. Field number 67 refers to student status. Please see Appendix L in PIMS Manual Volume 2 for further guidance. Values of note include homeschooled, court-placed, and agency-placed. Value O denotes a student who is non-public. Non-public students will be excluded from the snapshot. The demographics for students are embedded in precode labels. If the student cannot be matched using the 5 matching criteria, the student record has to be matched manually to their test record by the LEA. Using student demographics can help LEAs identify unmatched students. Demographics include a student having an IEP, being an English learner, being economically disadvantaged, and a student's race and ethnicity. Regarding field number 88, economically disadvantaged, the LEA determines this status. The CEP indicator is a school designation, but economically disadvantaged is a student-level designation. Therefore, not all CEP students are identified as economically disadvantaged. Additional fields to be aware of are fields number 38 and 167, which refer to special education students. Field 38 must be Y or E for field 167 to be Y. Only school districts and charter schools may enter Y in field 167. The below Cognos reports reflect data loaded into production. There are 4 reports of note that can be run prior to the snapshot to check one's data. There are 3 warning reports. First, a report to alert you to duplicate students reported at other LEAs. Second, there's a report to show you whether the reporting district and district of residence differ. And third, this report shows you students at location code quadruple 9s. The 4th report of note is the pre-SNAP assessment subgroup comparison Keystones report. This report offers a current year to previous year comparison of reported data by subgroup. The pre-SNAP assessment subgroup comparison Keystones report and the Keystone Assessment Subgroup ACS report are designed to show you your subgroup information. The main subgroups are listed on the slide, but there are a few others. This report will flag discrepancies in data before the data is final if run in the pre-SNAP. The Keystone Assessment Subgroup ACS precodes will be in the snapshot folder and will serve as the ACS for the assessment and accountability internal snapshots in 2018-19. The due date for the accuracy certification statement is March 8, 2019. Once PIMS reopens after the internal snapshot is taken at 12 p.m. on March 7th, LEAs can run their ACS. Please note that an ACS is required for the Spring Keystone Precodes internal snapshot. The previous year's snapshot date of March 1st, 2018, and the current year's snapshot date of March 7th, 2019, are the dates to be used when running the indicated pre-SNAP and snapshot reports. The following business rules are the criteria used to determine if a student record is included or excluded in the DRC file. Per business rule number 1, in order to be included in the DRC file, a student must be reported as enrolled in grades 3 through 12 in a Keystone course as designated in PIMS by the LEA. Business rule number 2 states, a student record must include the student's first name, last name, birth date, PA Secure ID, and grade. Note that grade must match in the student template and the school enrollment template. The third business rule is that special characters other than numbers, dashes, and apostrophes will be removed. If there are any special characters other than numbers, dashes, and apostrophes, it will cause a mismatch in the DRC system, and the LEA will have to manually match each student. Business rule number 4 states that the student is school-aged. Rule number 5 is fairly new. The student's school, district, and state entry dates must be correct and valid. A DQE rule prevents dates in the future. Business rule number 6 is covered in several slides and discusses how records are unduplicated and what LEA will receive the precode label. When more than one LEA reports a student, the following rules will be applied to unduplicate students. These first two rules primarily address students in part-time and full-time CTCs. If a student is reported by one or more occupational part-time CTCs and an LEA of any other type, then the records submitted by the other LEA will be used, because it is the other LEA that is providing the educational services for the subjects assessed. If a student is reported by a comprehensive full-time CTC and a school district or charter school, then the comprehensive CTC's record will be used, because it is the comprehensive CTC that is providing the educational services for the subjects assessed. In regard to IUs, if a student is reported by an IU and one or more LEAs, then the records submitted by the IU will be used. In regard to charter schools, if a student is reported by a charter school and one or more school districts, then the records submitted by the charter school will be used. If a student is reported by an approved private school and one or more school districts, charter schools, or CTCs, then the record submitted by the approved private school is used. If a student is reported by a private residential rehabilitation institution and one or more LEAs, then the record submitted by the PRRI will be used. If multiple school districts submit a record for the same student, then the record submitted by the district with the most recent district entry date is used. If multiple charter schools submit a record for the same student, then the record submitted by the charter school with the most recent entry date will be used. This completes the 6 business rules for the Precode internal snapshots. An additional note regarding IU classrooms housed in a district building. In such cases, the IU is responsible for the students in the IU classroom housed outside the IU. Therefore, the IU is responsible for uploading those students. The district should only be uploading its own students. The IU should upload its students even if they are housed in a district's building. An IU classroom housed in a district building must use the IU's labels and hand bubble booklets if it cannot get Precode labels. In the case of hand bubbling, the IU classroom students should be bubbled with the AUN of the sending school district or charter school. Please reach out for assistance regarding this webinar and the precodes for the Spring Keystone exams. The following list of contacts is provided if you have any questions or need clarification. For more information on the 2018-19 precodes for the Spring Keystone exams, please visit PDE's website at www.education.pa.gov.